not as dramatic finish in that 10K that we had on the men's side, but a good storyline with Baez kind of getting redemption from her loss 2 years ago. She had to wait an extra year to kind of redeem her loss to Wayne Kaladi by beating the cross-country champion in Mercy Chilangat. So it's not like the field was a weak field. She defeated the cross-country champ in convincing fashion. I was surprised that Baez made the move when she did. She sat on Chilangat the entire race until 2 laps ago where she went for the lead. And I was kind of surprised. I was like, hey, if this doesn't work out, you're going to regret making that move. But clearly it worked out. She made the move at the right moment. She felt strong and fit enough to be able to maintain that pace and slowly even ratchet it down harder in the final 800. And then with 400 to go, it was game over. Chilangat had no response to her move, and she's now an NCAA champion.
Yeah, once she made that push, you could tell Chilangat was in react mode, and Baez was totally the aggressor at that point. It started off pretty slow. I think Chilangat maybe needed to take a little bit of the sting out of Baez's kick earlier, but you go through, you look at these splits, it was just a parade of 80s and 79s throughout the first 5,000. Then Chilangat drops in about after 6K, a little bit of a move, drops them down to 75s, some 76s there. The pack winnows, but it was really that move, you're right, with 2 laps to go when Baez pops out from behind her shoulder and then moves to the front. She got to enjoy it too. You could tell coming off the home stretch. She looked up at the video board there at Hayward, and you could tell she knew, and that's got to be a pretty awesome feeling. Obviously, it would have been even better if you have a full stadium at that point, but winning an NCAA title at home in your last race, it doesn't get much better than that for Baez. And I was thinking the whole latter part of this race, Gordon, yeah, Chilangat's the cross-country champion, but Baez has been in this spot before because of that Wayne Kaladi 10K, which was a weird race, if people remember that from 2019. Kaladi had that huge lead. Baez just chipped away, drew even, and actually I think was ahead of her in the last 100, and then Kaladi responded to take it away. So Baez not a stranger to big moments, to pressure-packed final lap scenarios, and she gets the win here. How big of an upset do you think this was?
It's not that big of an upset. My rankings had Chilangat 1 and Baez 2. Even though Chilangat was the front runner, I don't think she had the reputation of like multiple years of dominance of an event or throwing down incredible top times the way like Kiptu did on the men's side. So it kind of made, like, it's not really that big of a shock. It makes sense. She's a 5th year senior or 6th year, I'm not sure because of COVID years. So she has the experience. She clearly knows how to race a championship 10K the right way. We saw it when she almost took down Kaladi. And yeah, I think it makes sense. Chilangat's still kind of new to the scene. I mean, she didn't become this like NCAA favorite until March of this year. Up until then, the only person who knew about her was me and people from Alabama, right? So it's not like she beat a world beater, but it's still impressive run. Good way to finish out your collegiate career for Baez. She formerly ran at Florida State, transferred to Oregon. She didn't have cross-country eligibility this year, so she was all focused on this outdoor season. And she put together the best race of her career at the right moment in Hayward Field. So big ups to the senior from Oregon.
And behind Baez and Chilangat, Maria Mettler of Air Force gets 3rd in 32:34. Izzo of Arkansas, 32:34 as well. They both set personal bests, as did Haley Herberg of Washington in 5th and Claire O'Brien of Boise State in 6th. It was interesting for the shoe people out there, the people taking notes on what every athlete wears on their feet, of which I'm trying not to be one of. Chilangat was wearing flats. Chilangat was wearing the Vaporflies or Next Percents or something. She was wearing flats. And Baez was in spikes. I know there's been some discussion about that because of different federations and governing bodies accepting certain marks. So it was interesting. She went the flat route. We saw in the men's race, all the contenders were in spikes. So Chilangat, runner up, good season for her though. Now on the radar, goes from just somebody Gordon was going to argue about with people on the podcast to now a NCAA champion and then an NCAA runner up. Pretty good.
Yeah, very good. Meet overall, not too many crazy surprises, I felt.